This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
Welcome back to The Cringe is Real, the podcast that cringes along with Australian reality TV and pop culture at large. I'm Sam Cremian, and in today's off-season episode, the hilarious Hunter Smith and I are hunting in the wilderness of Aotearoa. And by that I mean chatting shit about Alone Australia Season 2. Alone Australia is an SBS-produced Aussie spin-off of a US show, and our first season saw 10 survivalists rough it alone in Tasmania, but this year we're off to Aotearoa, New Zealand. You can watch both seasons of Alone Australia now on SBS On Demand. Hunter Smith.
Hello.
Welcome to The Cringe is Real.
Thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, good to see you.
Your gorgeous apartment. I can't keep looking at all the
stop.
art. I'm distracted.
I did tidy a little bit. If you were here 30 minutes earlier,
Right.
Chaos. Absolute chaos.
How does your partner feel about you turning the house into a podcast studio?
Oh, loves it.
Does he really?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no.
But thankfully, he's
Mine
at work.
hates
so.
it. We've had to have words about it.
Therapy.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I need you to get out of there. It's like a small apartment. I need you to get out for a couple of hours. And he says that's fine. But then over the hours leading up to him leaving, he has like a silent tantrum. And in the end, I'll be like, what's wrong with you? And he'll make up a thing. I said, that's not it. It's the fucking podcast.
We've literally had this same issue. I'm like, get out. I'm like, so I'm recording today. Can you get the fuck out of the house? Yeah. But sometimes he'll just hang out upstairs and just pretend like it's not
I'm
happening.
Sure about that too. Yeah, I don't mind if he's there. Yeah, but no, it's just he hates me monopolizing the house. But I've got my own back because he's been working from home full time since Christmas. So I feel like I'm just looking for 1 hour a week, sometimes a fortnight, and you're giving in 60 hours on the couch, mate. You'll be right.
What has got you cringing this week?
I wanted to talk, and I already feel guilty about it. I wanted to talk about the semi-cringe Katy Perry makeover. Now, if you don't know, she's gearing up the promo cycle to launch her new album, and what's come with it is full cringe, sort of like a Gen Z fashion makeover. Check out the pics on the Instagram.
On the level of like 0 to Jojo Siwa, like how hideous is it?
No, she looks great.
Oh,
Yeah, she looks great.
it's just
she
mum,
looks 19.
It looks like mum dressing like.
She looks 19. Yeah.
What kind of things, like mini skirts and like rave?
Yeah,
gear?
you know, like Gen Z, and I understand that caveat is I have been guilty of trying to dress much younger. You know, as you can see, I'm in a Reba McEntire t-shirt, just like all the cool kids are today. Think like you're in the Matrix, but also you're a slut. That look, you know?
Yeah, okay. That's not Katy Perry. She's normally quite whimsical.
No, the
and
whimsy's
cute.
gone. No, the whimsy's gone. Yeah, now she looks like
That'll
she's
come back
going
in
to
eventually.
Miscellanea. She's dancing.
She's at Miscellanea.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
what she looks like now.
I reckon, when 2010s is back in, I'm ready to go.
You're ready? Still got stuff?
I'm ready to go. When the 2010s is back in and everyone wants to listen to like R&B pop again, I'm fucking ready.
That's
Hurry
your
up,
moment.
children. Let's get over this.
No, I do
rave
feel
thing.
sorry. I feel guilty for ragging on Catherine because, as I said, I do think she looks genuinely good. I just think it raises the question, like, at what age do you have to just accept your fate and dress? I mean, she probably wants to be in a skinny jean with a small sports sock. That's probably what she wants. How old is she? 40?
I don't know.
I think she's probably about 40.
How do you feel about Charlie XCX?
Oh,
And
sorry. That's a much better
Brat
comp.
album?
That's a much better comp. She's dressed exactly like
Okay,
Charlie
of
XCX.
course. Yeah. Well, and I'm sure all the pop girlies will be.
In fact,
now
no,
that she's the queen.
she's going with, I was listening to Brat on the way here.
Oh.
Shocking, I know.
What's your favourite track? Of Brat OG, not Brat, but there's more.
I really quite liked Von Dutch, and I know that was a
Yeah,
single,
no,
but people didn't
that's
love it that much.
Legit my fave.
Is it?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And then what's the song? I can't remember this name, but the title is the same word twice, and so is the chorus. Pop quiz from home.
I don't know,
Homosexuals
fucking
all around the
not
country
paying
screaming
that
at their
much
phones.
attention.
Twice, love, something like that.
Lyrical genius.
Yeah.
I reckon I like Von Dutch,
I'm gonna look it up.
B2B, and 360. They're kind of like the party.
Yeah,
bangers.
she knows.
And then Everything Is Romantic is like so cute.
I feel like she has exceeded expectations. Would you agree?
Talk.
No.
It's called Talk. Yeah. No, only because I've been following this for some time.
Right.
So
right.
I'm
You're
like,
right there.
yes, I'm like, you're welcome, everyone. But yes, I think she's exceeded the expectations of lots of the children
The mainstream.
that are like, oh, who's this bitch? But yeah, she's pretty much been doing exactly the same thing for like, since like 2010.
How do you feel about how she can't seem to resist denouncing her own work after like a couple of months or years after she's released it? So at the moment she's shitting on the last album.
Oh yeah, but
Crash.
that's just. Oh, is she doing that?
Yeah, and I find it
that's
quite
dumb.
annoying.
Don't
I kind
do
of it kind of hurts my feelings. I
Yeah.
really liked Crash.
Yeah,
I don't care if you don't like it.
it's
Just shut up
fine.
about it.
Yeah, she does strike me as someone that's very like next trend.
Yeah.
And she's working with like, all of the big hitters in electronic dance music, and they're literally just doing whatever the fuck she wants. So she's got like the world is her oyster. And do you know what? As someone that's like, if I listen to the stuff I put out in 2019, I cringe a bit. So I kind of get that, but I would never tell anyone that.
Too. Yeah. I suppose
Beyond
that's
this
what sets her
non-recorded
apart.
conversation. we're
Yeah,
having
maybe
right now.
that's what makes her like she keep up with the trends if she is ruthless. Because I tell you who's probably not ruthless about their old hits, Katy Perry.
Oh no,
She's probably got Teenage Dream as a ringtone.
I reckon there's something in her contract she's not allowed to say anything bad
Yeah,
about
yeah.
anything she's ever done.
Well, maybe that'll be the next transformation. She'll be shitting on Teenage Dream in that album.
Oh my god. So we're here to talk about Alone Australia, season 2. Did you watch season 1?
I did. Big fan of Alone.
Gina Chick.
What a woman.
What a fucking queen.
What a woman.
Like, and look, no one in this season comes close. I'm sorry, guys.
Agreed.
They were all lovely people. I really enjoyed getting to know them, but I did find myself yearning for a Gina.
I
I
agree.
think the closest we got was Tamika, who's my queen of the season.
If the series is aired, right? So do we be nervous of spoilers? Can we just talk about it freely? Because Tamika,
No
she's
one's
the one that
listening
nearly
to
went to
this
the end,
podcast
right?
that's worried about spoilers, are they?
She nearly went to the end, Tamika, and I thought,
Yeah, I thought she was
the
gonna.
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too.
she was the Gina of the season.
Yeah, and Gina Chick was the first woman to ever win Alone in the world. So
Yes.
I was very excited that we were going to back it up
so
with another
good.
woman. Yeah.
I think since then someone else has though. No,
Perhaps.
I think a woman has won. I've stopped watching Alone US a long time ago. My partner and I binged a lot of it in lockdown. I think that's when it kind of got a bit
Yeah, that's
trendy.
when I binged it too. And I
Yeah.
was living alone. So
And
I was living it, mate. I was in it.
And then I had to stop because I was like, this is actually terrifying watching the show.
Exactly.
Like it is actually quite.
I know, and
don't
I
know.
started to feel like I had it tougher than them. Like, yes, you're trying to murder a Wolverine with your bare hands, but I haven't had toot roll in 3 weeks. You
Yeah,
know? Like
exactly.
we're all struggling.
Yeah, but the Australian version for me is so much different. It's a completely different proposition from the American one because I don't know if you've been on like the Reddit thread on this show, but in America, I feel like the fans of this show are like doomsday preppers, and those it's like men that want an excuse to use their toys in the bush and
Yep.
shoot like a moose.
Yes, you're
And
sorry. They've been
that's-
training all their
Yeah,
life.
yeah, and that's the target audience of Alone proper. I liked because it's SBS produced. Ours is more like let's connect with First Peoples culture. Let's talk about that, and let's also talk about mental health in a way that I find doesn't happen much on television. And I was like, "Fuck, this show's beautiful." Like it's probably the show I've cringed at the least that I've covered on this podcast.
You know, I was thinking on the way here that I've probably chosen the butchest reality show there is. Can you think of a more
there's
butch one?
some camp moments, don't you worry.
Oh, good. You found some. You dug some out. Yeah, I agree. And I'm a TV producer by trade, so I am fascinated by the production of it. So
Yeah.
when someone's been all alone in the bush for 6 weeks and all of a sudden they turn to camera and they just expose like the deepest, darkest trauma that they've ever had, and it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, and it's
I
better
just
because you
think-
know there's not a producer sitting there
I
going,
know.
"Hey, so just tell us a little bit more about that time that you
Exactly.
had ASD." It's just like, no, right now is the moment I feel like sharing that, and I'm going to do it. And
But are you sure? That's what I'm worried about. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Are they picking up that satellite phone and saying, "Listen, Sam,
Hey.
you're doing a fuckball, and we need a little more."
Okay, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on with you and say that totally happens. There's got to be some intervention. And I have seen a few behind the scenes things of this show before, one of which is that the equipment they have is fucking, I think it's like 20 kilos
Yes,
of
in the
equipment.
giant chest.
And they have to move, because in season 1, who was it? Someone like moved locations.
Always a strategic risk.
Yeah, which is like stupid.
Classic. It's like the ultimate grass is always greener.
It's always a man as well. Like, I've got to move. I've got to take up more space.
Yeah,
But
I need somewhere else I can't fish.
Exactly. But someone moves And then they showed behind the scenes, like, they also had to carry 20 plus kilos of like camera equipment.
Yes,
which is like,
absolutely.
come on.
Yeah, really rough. I do have a man on the inside.
Oh,
and
go on.
I did hear that that one thing the only intervening in a production sense that they would own up to was that some people's a really effective strategy on a loan is to just build a hut and lay down for 4 months and not get up. That's a thing that people do.
Suzanne from this season
Yes,
comes
she
to
gave that
mind.
a red hot go.
Suzanne with
that
a Z.
that does not make good television.
No.
So I did hear that they can threaten them with pulling them if they don't get up and work, because nobody wants to get up and fucking work these days.
I would sit inside my little hut. I'd build a hut. I'd just sit there and wait it out.
Don't you think
and then I'd probably
mental
tap on
health
day
would
4.
go though? What would you be doing to pass the time? Oh, shouldn't have asked.
I'm like, yeah, a lot of that.
Scaring the wildlife.
So let's get into season 2.
Please.
Episode 1 opens with a beautiful quote from Donna Tartt. I was like,
The author.
okay, don't know. Yes.
Oh, Donna Tartt, she wrote The
is she?
Goldfinch.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. Someone that's read a book.
Bit of hype, something a bit highbrow.
Beauty is terror. Whatever we call beautiful, we quiver before it. And I was like, thank you. And then it goes, dun, New Zealand, South Island. And we get an epic trailer of what's to come.
Now, why do you think we've gone to New Zealand? Any theories on that?
I think it's great. Look, so everyone on Reddit after season 1 was like, oh, this is fucking shit. They can't even strangle a platypus.
You need to kill
I want to
something.
kill.
We need some
I think they
killing.
wanted to kill some more things.
Yeah.
And also, it's just a different scenery. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm all for change of locations.
Yep.
Survivor producers, if you're listening, like just change it up, just for us to view it, like, because it's a character. The location is a character.
Yeah. I also believe that they needed somewhere more hostile than we have in Australia, because
Tassie's
Gina
pretty
Chick,
rough.
she was going nowhere.
She was like, it's easy.
Yeah, like when she won season 1, if there had been a competitor, she would have just kept going. And I honestly think they can't like what do they do?
Okay,
They
yeah,
just keep the staff on staff forever.
It's also,
you know what I mean?
it's like the wettest place in the world, I
Yeah.
think. The
So I
South
think-
Island of New Zealand. So they were like,
Yeah.
they're going to get wet.
Because all the North American versions are like that, right? So they put them
Yeah,
in
it's
Canada, so they know they
Arctic.
will actually die if they don't tap out. And I think you need
Has
that.
anyone
I think you
died?
need that for pressure. I don't think anyone has died,
No.
but that's another thing that I worry about, like making the show. How do you sleep at night just waiting for the phone to ring and be like,
Yeah.
we haven't heard from Beryl in 6 weeks. She's fallen down an escarpment.
We first meet Jason, 37, support worker, and Tamika, 51, who's an off-gridder, my girl. And she tells us that there's wild boar, goat, and deer out here, and she's planning to snag one, which I'm like,
Really raising our expectations.
fucking get that. I know, I really wish, yeah.
What were those 3 animals?
Wild boar, goat, and deer.
Okay.
Which we never hear about 2 of those ever again.
If I dropped you in the bush with those, which do you think you'd be most likely to be able to kill?
The piggy.
Oh, they're pretty rough,
Aren't
though.
they? You
got
can
the
snag them in
horns.
like, you can snag them in a trap.
Do you know I have this really
'Cause they're fat.
weird side habit where I like watching pig. This is embarrassing. I like watching pig trapping videos on YouTube.
Okay, that's
Oh my
interesting.
god, get into it, guys. They make all these big. Sorry, I'm distracting you. Sorry.
We'll take that.
Do you edit
offline.
this?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
It's all going
I'll
in.
self-edit.
Yeah.
I'll self-edit.
I can.
No, it's fine. I'll self-edit. We've only got a day.
She says that the mountains have an ancient feel to it. And I'm like, thanks, Tom.
No shit,
Then we meet Andreas, 42, who's a sexy Swedish underwear model. Suzanne with a Z, 54. Takes on Suzanne, as I'm going to call her.
I love the spelling. Reminds me of Susan Lee, the federal politician, who added an extra S simply so that her numerology chart would be better.
Amazing.
And maybe that's what Sus with his done.
Yeah, love her. Love her mother and like mother god energy. Then we meet Christoph, 39. He's wearing like a sort of camp
He's a kook.
Russian hat. And I was like, oh, okay. Rick, daddy, with the big beard.
I'm just getting up the photo now, so I can
Oh,
be
so you can see
reminded
who's
of which
who.
ones I'm
Rick's
sexually attracted to.
Look, by the end of it, I was sexually attracted to all
real
of them.
daddy,
Rick
real
is
daddy.
proper daddy.
Could you imagine? You'd be going mad out there. You'd be starting looking at
Oh
one
my
of those
God.
feral possums sideways.
He was the one that did the plunge pools in the morning, and I thought that was pretty hot.
You were into that?
Well, at 55, I want to have that bod.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going for.
You know what?
No, sorry, he's older. Sorry, Jack's 55. Rick is, I want to say 60 something.
You know what's sad about a body like that? Because they're like preppers and that.
Mm.
They're not like they're not like me, who's like fluctuated in weight. Like their bodies that have never put on any weight. Like they've been lean and taut forever.
Like Andreas says, half of them like stack on the pounds for this show,
Yes,
which
love that
backfires on a
strategy.
few of them, as we'll see. Jack, he's super cute, 55. He's a hunter, originally from Chile. Mike is 60, and he's a resilience coach, also looking good, might add.
Mm-hmm.
But my sweetheart of the season was Chase. 27-year-old Chase.
Oh, yes.
He's just the most gorgeous.
Yes. Was he a military man?
I think so, yeah. So we start with him. He's a proud Indigenous man. He's hot. The hunting pics, though, are a bit of a turn-off. I just skip that bit.
Yeah,
when it's like them holding up like a carcass. I'm like,
Yeah. I don't mind as long as they're feral animals, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't be, I don't want anyone kneeling below, an African elephant. That they've shot.
No. All right, we start with Tamika. She just wants to take a moment to like enjoy her surroundings. But she's like, no, I've got a shit to do. Got to make my fire, shelter. She's anxious, so she gets on with it. Mike cries at the sight of a rainbow in the first episode. And I'm like,
Darling.
This is why I love this show. It's like men forced to be like vulnerable.
Yeah, forced to be alone. Have you heard that they call it the drop shock?
What's
so
that?
there's people where they spend their whole life training to go on alone, and then they get dropped, and then it pretty much dissolves in a second.
Yeah.
And you're
Well, there's
crying at a
always
rainbow.
one, right?
Yep.
Always at least one. Mike is giving kind of like Men's Health. Like he's got ex-rugby player looks.
Yes,
I
I'll pay
I
that.
clocked a thick glute.
I think the pronunciation on that was stunning. A thick
glute. And then we see some photos from Home of the Suns, and I was like, I'm interested in the Suns.
Where are the Suns? How alone are they?
Yeah, can the Suns get out here? Rick, he's like, oh, it's a wet place here. I'm like, thank you. And this is when we get introduced to the main character of the season, the flies.
Yes.
These disgusting flies that made me want to vomit.
Yes, and they have lots of different names for them, including midgies, sandflies. Then there's the Maori name for them too. So they looked fucking brutal.
Speaking of the Maori names, when you talk about the subtitles, obsessed with this show, the subtitles, every now and then they've got a little sass to them.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like, Tamika hasn't caught a fish for 3 days. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks.
Or they'll be like,
shady bitch.
they'll be like, what was that? Did you hear that? To the camera. Did you hear that? And then the subtitle will be like, Tamika ate a rotten fish on Thursday, and a rotten
It's
fish
her bowels.
can send you insane.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Or is it, Suzanne eats those berries and they're like, Suzanne will likely experience diarrhea.
Yeah.
And it's like, thanks, sassy
Yeah,
subtitles.
cut to a line time
So
lapse of her up
good.
and back from the 35 times in a night.
Oh my God.
Oh,
So
that'd take me
Tamika
out.
hasn't eaten meat for 8 years, but she's like, look, nature's pantry is here. I'm going to fucking do it if I have to.
Did you believe her?
Yeah. She eats fish out there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Well, doesn't she go on to have a full crisis about whether to shoot a duck or
Yeah.
not? Shoot the duck, Tamika. You could have won.
Oh, no, but I get really caught up in these things when there's like someone that believes in something and then they like, to me, that's like, yeah.
You're on board.
I'm
You're
on
with
board.
the turmoil.
Yeah, I love it.
She, as you said, she thought she was going to be out there to be like shooting and killing, but she just didn't have it in her, the poor love, did she?
Caught so many fish.
Yeah, she did catch a lot of fish,
Come on,
but
Suzanne.
I want something. I want something a little bloodier.
We meet Leanne, whose partner Rob was on season 1.
Love
and
that.
Love Rob, except he had a bit of drop shock. Left day 2.
Right,
something like that. And she's like, I've got to mainly outdo him.
I love a competitive couple. Are
Same.
you competitive with your partner?
No, not really. But if this situation, like if we were on a show like this, I reckon.
Absolutely.
What about
yeah.
you guys?
Oh yeah, if we were competing on alone separately,
Yeah.
I'd absolutely want to destroy him. And let me tell you, I wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't even get on the boat. This show though, I've got to say, it's probably the only reality show I can think of where the cast don't interact at any point.
Great point.
Like
yeah.
that's like tough gig, particularly for the edit suite. But fuck, they do a good job. Anyway, I love how it just bounces around. You're like, okay, we're bored with Leanne now. Yep, she's found a twig.
Yep,
Cool.
yep.
Let's see what
Leave
Chase
Leanne
is
and
doing.
her berries.
Love how they just kind of pan around. Chase is trying to make fire, but everything's wet. So he boils up some supple jacks.
Now, let's stop down and talk about the foragers, because I feel
Yeah.
like in terms of television, I roll my eyes a bit at the people that aren't hunting and looking for berries, but they do very well.
No, the foraging
It pays to know.
Yeah, it does. And I also like learning about the plants and stuff. So I'm like, okay, cute. Yeah. Yeah, it's like plant-based week on MasterChef or something. And there's, they have to do what they can do. I love this. An owl makes a squeak. This is at Mike's camp. And then the text tells us that an owl is an ominous warning in Maori culture. And I'm like, ooh, what's going to happen?
Yeah, that's an extra shady thing to add when you know what's coming.
Day 2, Tamika tells us that it's like you're drunk at a festival and you stumble into your own tent and you can't move. And I'm like, I love this.
But maybe I would be good at it alone.
Yeah, exactly. She's a foraging girly at this point. Daddy Rick's meditating. Mike has a visit from a weka, which is a flightless bird. Lots of those in New Zealand.
Birds in general.
And then talks about his experiences with suicide. And again, this is why I love this show. It's just like, okay, so we're getting like nature, but then we're also going into the human brain.
Yeah, we're cracking them open.
And then he starts to feel a tight chest, which, it's like a man at 60. You don't fuck with that. So I think he does the right thing and he calls the medics.
Taps
Which
out.
is how Ep1 ends. We pick up episode 2 and they're rushing to get to him. And this is like a beautiful scene where he's there and he's like instantly transformed into a little boy. And he's like, I was scared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you like should have been.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're right, all the toughness, it all, fades away instantly when you're thinking of your family and you're having a maybe heart attack.
yeah.
Turns out it was just a stitch though or something, didn't it?
Oh, well, they were like, you can be fine.
Yeah.
No, but turns out at the reunion we find out it's because it was metabolism. He ate a lot of fat, high fat content food in like to stockpile going out there. Stupid idea. Because then your heart's like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I've got to pump all this shit
Often.
around. So yeah.
It's telling someone you stacked on weight to go on alone, but then the casting fell through. That's a great thing to tell people if you accidentally do put on a few extra pounds.
Well, Andreas loved a little bit of a body moment, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just like pinching.
Putting the reverse camera.
Like there's like no
Yes,
fat
he
there and he's
was.
pinching. He's like, oh, look at how fat I am. I'm like, shut
Did
up.
I mention I'm a model?
This one time for Aussie bum. I love making him sound like the Swedish chef. Rick decides what plant to use as toilet paper. He goes for
A devil's choice. The devil's bargain.
Andreas. All right. So, yeah, he's put on 15 kilos. He's a thick boy. He's looking good. He goes for a little wander to survey the land and he scouts for like 4 hours. And this is where I'm like, okay, you're the like douchey straight guy of the season. There's always one who's like a little bit cocky. What were your thoughts on Andreas?
I've been praying for his downfall. To
Me
be honest.
too.
Yeah, once the cockiness comes in, I'm like, no, it's all over. On alone, I need you to be humble and bloodthirsty. They're the two things I'm
Yeah.
looking for. But once you're cocky, it's all gone.
I did like some of the stuff he had about ethical butchery and like his dad teaching him to fish and all that. I was like, yeah, cute. You like that was giving less tox mask and more like just nice guy.
They do often go out early, those people, though, because they are so brave, and bravery undoes you. You even see it on Survivor, actually, too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The guy will be, like, jumping on the rocks day one.
But where he killed it for me was the fucking reunion, where he sat there like a stroppy little...
Oh, was he?
queen.
Was he, like,
he was
shitty?
stroppy. At the
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What, embarrassed? Or?
Yeah, kinda. He was, like, defensive of his time on the show, but also being, like, really... petty and I don't know. He wasn't fun.
Do you know
everyone else?
How long he lasted?
Oh, I can't remember.
Because this series was a bit of a bloodbath early.
Yeah, a lot of them dropped out. They said there was a big gap in between. So like a lot dropped out. Then there was like a 30-day gap or something, and then the rest of them dropped out.
It's amazing when you watch it and you think, God, they do
Yeah.
really well to keep these episodes similar length, and it's great production. And then you notice that some episodes span 4 hours and other episodes span 40 days.
We meet Christoph. He's so gorgeous. He's telling us about he's really into aquaculture. Has a lot of fish tanks. I'm like, called the spectrum thing a bit early when I saw this. I was like, yeah, girl, love a fish tank.
That's a turn off for me.
He builds like solid walls out of soil and logs. And I was like, I'm really impressed by that.
I love a real hut. I find it annoying when people on Alone make it towards the end without constructing a true home.
Oh,
I'm there for the AD reveal, you know?
He really did like build all the inventions and the things. There's always that character that builds all the stuff. Some of it was useless.
About you, but I find that skill
amazing. Also keeping your mind active, and he acknowledges that. Like when he's like weaving and making rope and stuff, and he's like, I probably don't need this, but it's gonna keep me like active.
Yeah,
like,
see, that's hot. I want a man who weaves.
Yeah,
instead of a man who leaves.
Leanne goes down the same trap that Rob did in his season and starts thinking about family very early on.
Yeah.
She tells us that fire is really important for Aboriginal people. It's protection. And then I hear Jeff Probe's voice going, and in this game, it's life. She sits by the fire and her thoughts just go to a poem that she learned in school, which she recites about the dream time. It's really beautiful. And I'm like, she's tapping.
Yeah, way too emotional.
You've gone too far into the like, you're thinking about home, not where your mind needs to be right now. And that's ultimately what happens. Still beat Rob by like a day.
You know, you've just mentioned Survivor, and in many ways, Alone is like Survivor for ugly people, isn't it?
Oh my God.
They should put that on the poster.
Survivor.
It's Survivor for ugly
Totally.
people.
Well, have you seen Naked and Afraid? Because that show is Alone, but with hot people.
Yeah, right.
You need to watch. There's a season of it called Naked, because there's like 1,000 spin-offs. It's like 90 Day Fiance. There's like too many. You like don't know where to start. There's a season of it called Naked and Afraid, Last One Standing. And it's pretty much this show, but they're all in the one camp and they're all naked. And there's some attractive people on that show.
You know, another Alone-esque spin-off I stumbled upon on Netflix recently. I can't remember the name, of course. That'll be too helpful. But so they're not alone. So they're in groups of people. They're in like 3 or 4 camps of 3.
And they date each other?
I'm butchering this. It's like 4 groups of 3 people. But otherwise it's like Alone. They have to build shelter and survive. But they're allowed to attack each other. So they like sneak over in the night and burn down their camps and stuff. And it has...
That's horrible.
The villain on it is this woman, and she is one of the nastiest, scariest reality TV show villains I've ever watched. Do yourself a favour. And I know I don't remember the name of it, so that doesn't help.
I'm looking this shit up as soon as you leave, and I'm watching the whole thing.
It
That sounds amazing. It sounds evil.
It is evil.
God.
Anyway, sorry, I keep distracting you. We're probably on day 2 of 59.
Tamika moves to a new location
Very
to get more
brave
sun,
move.
but works out for her, so it's all good. Chase has got a little mow growing through, which is quite cute, and he goes fishing. And this is when we learn that when you catch an eel, tough titties. That thing's going straight back into the lake.
Yeah,
you can't touch the eel because it's forbidden. It's sacred in Maori culture. So I love that it's like the opposite.
Okay, well, you mentioned
like
Maori culture while I was doing the Roll Maori's voice. I just want to point out those words. I didn't know he was going to say that.
Cancel, Hunter. Get in the DMs.
I'm married to a New Zealander. It's fine.
No, but like, so funny because you couldn't. What couldn't you catch? You couldn't hunt possums in Tasmania.
Yeah.
But then obviously those possums are introduced to New Zealand, so you can kill them at your leisure.
And did you know that the Australian possums in New Zealand have slightly evolved? So they have different
because they don't have as many predators or something.
Yeah. So I think they're more vicious and nasty. Yeah. And also, did you
notice
notice when they search for them, they're just on the ground because they ain't got nothing coming to kill them. So why climb a tree? Why would you?
Oh, true.
They're just
Not
in like tree holes and stuff.
Edie Gardens.
Yeah. Although you can spot them on the ground sometimes, depending on the hour.
When they're waiting for treats. Yeah, so eels, not so good. And this is when everyone starts talking big, like, deer hunting game. And I'm like, sure, Jan.
Bring it on.
Come on.
That's what I want. I need something big to be killed. Maybe that's why they went to New Zealand too, because there's something a bit more sizable.
I reckon they were really hoping someone was going to kill a deer.
I reckon they'd let you kill a deer in Australia, though, because that'd be a pest too.
Are there any in Tassie?
I don't know. There's a few here.
Yeah, I know there's some here, but
remember Gina Chick went for a piss and killed an animal with her bare hands?
Yeah, oh,
what was that? Why was she allowed to
queen
do
behaviour.
that? Was it a patty? No, it wasn't
It
a patty
was a
melon. She gets offended when people say patty melon.
Oh, really?
I learned that the
It
hard
was
way.
a wallaby.
Some animal, but I don't know
Yeah,
why
she
they
was
were
like,
okay.
went
to
out
get
for a piss
murdered.
and was like, little midnight snack.
Crack.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Can't hunt at night in New Zealand.
Oh, what can you do, Jacinda?
What can you
What
do?
can you do, mate?
Nanny state.
Nanny
That's all I
state.
gotta say
Nini.
about that. Nini. Yeah, so Leanne taps. Tamika hits herself in the face and goes, "Oh, fuck, they're going to put that in, aren't they?" And I was like, yes. So good.
I don't like it when they get too cute with the cameras.
No, it's cute.
Have you ever seen a series where someone does like a fake, I'm on a cooking show. Hi, welcome to Tamika's kitchen.
But they're,
I'm like, no,
they're
sorry.
on their own. I'm picturing you out there, buddy, hosting
How
a
dare you.
pretend podcast on your own on the island.
How dare you? I would
say
be
that 'cause-
very solemn.
Would you?
No.
I would be like putting on a full
Yeah.
cabaret.
Because I'd
For
be
the-
like, I've
for
seen
the
this show.
eels.
I know it's boring. Whatever you're doing is going on.
Oh my God. Chase catches a trout. Delicious. First one too, I think.
God, the fish look good when they catch them.
Oh,
don't
they looked delicious. It was pretty much an ad for gourmet
Fish.
New Zealand. Episode 3. It's day 6. 8 people left. Chase is like, last night was really intense. There was deer everywhere. I could hear them. And then the text says,
Salivating.
well, you can't hunt them at night. And we're like, thank you. We've learnt this now. Jack. We meet Jack now. This is kind of like the Channel 10 school of like, oh, it's episode 3 here. Do you want to meet a new person? I'm like, thanks. Okay. He's from Santiago and he's very stubborn. He tells us he's been hunting and fishing for 40 years. Innovation is his secret weapon. I thought Jack was a super cutie.
Can you point to him on my helpful chart here?
Where is he? This one. Super,
oh, yeah. he's
Super cute. Yeah.
He's cute.
Little dad.
Nugget.
Yeah.
Little Santiago nugget.
See him at the lead.
Absolutely. You
little
can see him at the
harness.
lead.
Yeah. Susan with a Z. She's... Oh, so we need to talk about... I could do a whole fucking podcast just about Susan and her partner John living at this like series-esque Brunswick West wet dream.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with these people.
Are they, and these are people that she wants to win the money so that she can put a dam on the land.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so noble.
She's so
That's so
ecosexual. I'm obsessed. It's like, and John with his like skirts and like their dogs, and I'm just obsessed. Susan, if you're listening, like invite me around.
Yeah,
I
come
want
on
an invite
over.
to the off-grid compound.
Get her on the pod. No, she won't have any reality to talk about.
No.
That's not her style.
She's
Come
giving
on and talk
Rainbow.
about
She's like given up going to Rainbow Serpent, and now she's found like off-grid.
Yes.
And I'm here for.
Well, off-grid, is that the
Susan.
Australian doomsday preppers, do you think?
Could be, but it's more caring for country and less.
Oh, it's better.
The
yeah.
end
But is
is
that
coming?
our version? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it's more caring for country and less I've got 35,000 packets of 2-minute
Like,
noodles in the
less
garage.
guns in the bunker.
Yeah, less guns.
Yeah.
They should give them guns. Like, if they want to spice up
Yeah.
their show, give them a fucking gun. No, they might live forever, though.
Yeah. Or just shoot
Something
each
to consider, SBS.
Yeah. Day 7. Rick's bloody boot falls apart. This is like the drama of the season is Rick's boot.
It really goes to show this program how precarious life is. And I constantly think when things happen to these people, I think, okay, so we'll cave people. This will be the end of them. And so Rick's taken his like sturdy, reliable hiking boot onto the show. And day 6, it splits open and water's getting in. And that is a death sentence. But he says this really cute thing like, I probably should have got some new boots, but I couldn't really afford it.
It's so granddad like,
I
oh
would've
no, I'm
bought
not getting, why would I get new
I know.
boots? But no, Rick,
Because there's
like,
$100,000 on the line,
he
Rick.
broke my heart in this moment.
Yeah.
He should have bought just, a little croc, a little backup croc.
A backup
Do you
croc.
reckon they could have done that?
And then he puts a really valiant effort into repairing the shoe, which again, completely beyond my skill. He's melting rubber. He's using strings and pulleys to pull it together. And you know what? The whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking that's not going to work, mate. Nature finds a way
He does
to give you
all
foot
right.
rot.
I will give, like, what does he do? He like melts down a piece of hose or something?
Yeah,
It's, like,
sacrifices some rubber
amazing.
from
Yeah,
somewhere
some rubber,
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we meet Jason, who's another proud Aboriginal man and a youth worker. They cut back to him building a shelter on day 3. I'm like, okay, rude. And he forages a beer bottle.
Oh,
And this is when I'm like, okay, so they can use
Shit they find.
Yeah.
Yeah, once in the American series, somebody found like a 44-gallon drum.
I thought you were going to say like a 10-inch dildo.
And he turned it into a hot tub.
Serious?
Filled it with water, put it over a fire, turned it into a hot tub. I mean, that man was
I've heard
Olympic.
of
He was in Alaska.
Amazing.
I wonder if there's a
well
limit.
done
Wonder
to
if there's a
you.
limit to what they'll let you keep if you find it.
Yeah.
Like if you did find like a power generator.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you can't do that. I found a caravan.
Oh my God. So Jason, he hasn't eaten in like almost a week, and I'm like, fuck. When they tell you how long it's been since they've eaten, I'm just like, if I have not eaten in like 5 minutes, like I'm an absolute cunt.
You're hangry. Yeah, it's very unrelatable. Jennifer hasn't eaten food in 16 days. And then they're like, I just need to train my stomach to know the food is not coming. And once I've achieved that, I can live forever.
No, it's like when they tried to when keto was a thing. No, sorry.
No.
We've realised that doesn't work.
Yeah, all the 5 and 2, and now that guy's dead. So what does that tell
Oh,
you? Yeah.
R.I.P.
Actually, people really like him.
Yeah, he was loved.
Yeah, he was loved. But, did he fall down or was he killed by a very hungry woman?
Was he silenced or was he silent?
R.I.P. Richard Mosley.
Jack is not giving up. His goal is to last till the end.
Hey, welcome to the show, Jack.
Right. Susan, Earth Mother, she finds a rock that reminds her of John, her partner, who I love. They're so like Polly and
that
Pam,
is
and I'm obsessed.
cute. Yeah,
and
it's a little offensive though. This rock reminds me of you.
Yeah, and she makes like an Earth altar to John, and she put that rock.
That's real
inside of her.
Yes, she did the full Gwyneth. You think?
I reckon she went full.
The
Gwen.
gemstone. She put the. Sorry, that's enough.
Jason
down the tone of your podcast.
uses the beer bottle to fish.
Oh no! Oh, fish.
Avoiding eels, hopefully. And Andreas goes night kind of hunting, but he gets around it by not using a projectile, and he clubs a possum to death.
Oh,
so this is like first like
now
mammal
that's
kill.
an achievement. And you know what?
It's a bit
That made
hot.
me think. You know what? We're just going to get dead possums from here to the end, but we really didn't. They really set us up.
It really did make me think like this guy knows how to fuck.
Yeah.
If you can club,
Can you explain that?
if you can club an animal to death,
Clubbing is.
you know how to fuck. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm still struggling to see the connection. I feel like clubbing a
Their
possum and
hands.
possum, great. Clubbing other animals, though, not so great. Like, would you shag a man who clubbed a baby seal?
No, but possums, they're
No.
running.
No,
They're
you
running
went up-
rampant in New
We
Zealand.
went up to
He's
the higher
doing.
register that you were lying. I think.
He's doing a favour.
Well, you don't know how many baby seals there are running around Reykjavik.
They're taking over the streets. Susan starts to feel queasy from those berries. Shouldn't have eaten those berries,
Shouldn't have done
Susan. But she does well.
She just spends 3 days shitting, though, doesn't she?
She spends 3 days
But she
shitting.
doesn't tap.
No, she's a tough woman.
Usually the bowel,
Yeah.
anything to do with the bowels, usually leads to a tap.
Yeah. We end up 3 with like a boat coming. It's like, who's it for? Is it Jason and his starvation or Susan and the berries? And it's for Jason. So at 4 starts, the boat comes. See you later, Jason. Nice to know ya.
I love that moment. One of my girlfriends is the producer, and so sometimes it's her.
Hey, girl. Oh, who's standing on the shore being like,
"Hi, what went
so,
wrong?"
yeah, we've just,
Yeah,
we
so
got
that
your
was a
call.
thrill from me. She got to do the winner this time as well. Oh, you've won this.
Well, that was awkward. We'll get into it, but it was.
Spoiler.
They're like, yeah, we'll get there. Rick catches an eel. Sorry about it, but then a trout. So yeah, good
Win.
work. Good work, Daddy.
Now, can I briefly stop to say that the most tense part of Alone is in any series is the time between the fish that you've caught,
Yes.
leaving the water and getting in your fucking hand. When they're dragging it up,
don't. I
it's
can't. It's so
thrashing
tense.
for its
And when
life,
it
and
does
they get out
flop
all
back
the
in.
time.
I don't think
Yeah.
it happens to anyone this season.
No, they
Definitely
didn't show
did
it.
last season where it goes back into
Yeah.
the water, and you're literally just watching at
Yeah.
home, and you're like, I would just
I would
end it
burst
all.
into tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I've
would
watched
unalive.
I've watched enough
Yeah.
seasons that I know that what you need to be doing as soon as you're settled is building a fucking net. Because if they've got the net to
Yeah,
scoop, you need
yeah.
to pull and scoop. Pull and scoop.
Easier said than done, I think. Weaving a net.
I mean, I couldn't weave a fucking net, but I'm not going on alone, you know.
Yeah. Susan is in a world of pain. Diarrhea, burping. And this is when the subtitles really troll her. They troll her hard. Cutie Chase, he's just being cute. He tells us, he's like, I kept something from the producers. I'm going to be a father. So he didn't tell anyone, which on any other show that would be
Be
so mad. If it
annoying,
was like a dating show and like, you know, how all these guys lie that they're single.
Yeah.
It's kind of giving that, but more wholesome version. So he's feeling guilty. He's not going to be there for any of those big moments.
Absolutely.
You
You feel
know,
guilty.
when the-
Oh, that's good. When you said a hidden something from the producers, I thought it was going to be contraband.
Yeah. Much.
Small
He
television.
stole something from like the catering tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, he talks about he's conflicted because now he's thinking about all the moments he's missing, but also that money, the $250K, could like change the lives of the family. So
And
I'm
it
like,
really does change the lives
Mm.
because these are generally, so we're giving country off-gridding people, right? So they can do a lot.
They
with
can build a
250 out
fucking
there.
dam, yeah.
I mean,
A lot of
how much
trout.
could a dam cost, you know? What is it? It's the absence of dirt. It's a bargain. Yeah, but that wouldn't give you, you know, wouldn't
Yeah.
get you fuck all in Sydney, would it?
No. Day 9, 7 remain. Tamika adds more rocks to the fireplace. This is when the weather starts to turn a bit. Jack's trying to chase deer. Just give up, girl. It's not
The
going to
weather-
happen.
The weather would put you in such a bad mood.
Yeah.
You saw how I arrived today because it's very cold
It's
today. I was
really
beside
Crazy
myself.
out there.
I rode a bike all the way from Fitzroy, which is about 300 metres.
Oh my
I was
God.
dying.
You poor thing. Chase catches a fish, but then he's like, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm missing out on, you know, being a new father. So he taps, and I was genuinely gagged. I really thought he was going to stick in there, but 10 days, amazing. Good work, Chase. I was also sad because
Amazing.
he was the trade
right.
for me. So I was a
Trade
little bit
of
like,
the
can you
season.
come back? I wanted to see
You
that
know you're horny.
beard.
You know you're horny when you're thinking trade of the season on a loan season too.
I wanted to see like the beard grow out, you know.
You wanted him to
Anyway.
see it's full earth father.
Yeah, I love it. Tamika has not eaten protein for 11 days. It says the text on day 11. I'm like, okay, shady bitch. She wants to eat the fern heart, also known as mamaku. This looks disgusting, by
Yeah.
the way.
They often will talk up this
Mm.
amazing thing, and you know that they probably only read about it, and then they
Mm.
find it. They spend 3 days broiling it, or whatever the fuck they do. Then they eat it, and you can tell by their face that after all that, it tastes like wood.
Yeah, no, she was like,
Boiled
she
wood.
was not trying to sell it at all. She was like, this is chalky and looks gross. And I was like, yes, it does.
And it took me 2.5 days.
Yeah.
The interesting thing when they get down to
Yeah.
it, the brass tacks on a loan is when they are calculating the risk benefit analysis of burning the calories. I find that really interesting. When she'll say she'll eat the chalky heart of a fern tree, and
But
she'll say
chopping it down cost me
exactly
all these yeah.
Then they'll it tasted like shit. I reckon it was 40 calories, and I reckon it spent 200 to get it.
Fuck.
That's why you stay in bed.
Day 13, we meet Christoph properly now. He talks more about his parents immigrating to Australia from Poland, and he talks about the 1944 uprising and that his nana survived, so he can survive this. And I was like, gorgeous
Loved that.
story arc.
I love that too.
Loving this for us. Susan is doing some cookie yoga. She's camp.
That
man.
made me think once she started doing the kooky yoga, that was giving Jean a chick. I thought maybe she's in
Yes.
the long haul.
She does. She has more spiritualness than Tamika, but Tamika had more like on camera likability.
Yeah. To me, you know what? You
Not
probably
to
get to
pit
it.
them against each other. Only one can survive.
Well, Tamika had that fascinating backstory about how she
Hmm.
might have been a traumatized cop.
Oh shit!
So
yeah.
that was really
Oh
really
my god!
interesting.
Plus, the poor thing had a period half the time out there.
Yeah.
She really roughed it.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. The cop thing, I was like, okay, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah,
Being a
it was-
woman in the Queensland Police Force, like,
And
wow.
and you could the Tamika of today that she was never a cop, so she must have undergone a huge transformation. Do you know what I mean?
Rebirth.
Yeah, love that.
Jack shows us some photos of his gorgeous girls.
Photos I think that's a mistake to take a photo.
I agree. It's like, don't take don't
I
take.
think it
a photo.
opens the heart too much.
It does.
Just take that little
Take a
rock
net
that looks like your
instead.
husband, like old mate did.
It gives him some strength to soldier on, and then he starts digging up worms to go fishing, and he catches a trout. Well done, Dave.
How good.
Rick is adorable and makes a map of the area to track where he's been, which was cute. Andreas talks about his dad in Sweden who taught him how to fish, and then he catches another huge trout, which he's really happy about. 2 huge trout, and this is where we get the phrase stonker. He's like, oh, what a stonker!
Yeah, I love that.
Which they give him an opportunity to turn into like a camp moment at the reunion, and he just totally is like, yes, like so Scandinavian. He's
Oh,
like, yes, that's what I said. And they're like,
That is the
Twitter
word.
was on fire, man. And he was like, yes.
And Stonker's a great nickname.
Stonker's, Stonker. Rick's still trying to fix his boots. Poor babe.
Poor Rick.
This is now like the torrential downpour. And we get like shots between everyone's camps and they're all really roughing it.
Yeah, and the trees are falling.
The trees, it's like
Yeah.
chaos. I'm surprised no one tapped like mid-storm. I'd be like, nope.
You know, I thought about that too, but
Maybe
I
they
bet,
can't.
Well, I was thinking if you tap mid-storm, then maybe they say we'll come when we can, and then you think, fuck, maybe I'll just wait out the
Just
storm.
hold out.
Yeah.
Could you just stop dying?
Can you untap? I don't think you can.
Yeah, wow. No. The storm passes on day 15. Thank fuck. Doesn't make for great television, I will say.
No.
Tamika talks about being a plant-based eater, your favourite thing. But she's going to do it. She's going to kill a possum or something.
She's going to do it. She lied.
Jack is out hunting, and then they do like a routine medical check. So I like when we see these because I'm like, surely they see people, right? And so they do.
Yes.
So we do every now and then get a little bit. And this is an interesting one because they're there just checking, and they're like, yeah, like he's healthy and everything. And he's like, that's good. I'd like to tap.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
It's very unusual. I don't
Very
remember
unusual.
anyone getting pulled for medical reasons, did they?
No, he was healthy.
Yeah.
He was just like, he goes, I'd rather go home healthy. And I don't know. So I think it must have been the human contact. I think that the people arrived and he was like, oh yeah, I'm not meant to be out here. Like, what do you reckon?
I also think that when you go out there, you get in touch with your body and your health in a way that you probably never have before. And so it makes you value it in a different way. So I can totally see why you'd be like, I'm heading downhill and I want to jump off now rather than later on when I've gone bananas.
Yeah.
But also, like, we know now from watching enough series that they do a fake medical check when they tell you you've won.
Yeah.
So every time you watch a medical check, I'm always thinking they're just hoping at any moment they're going to tell them they've won.
Probably not on day 16, but anyway. So it's halfway through the season and we're halfway through the cast. So
Great,
it's perfectly,
love that.
there's 5 people left. We start with episode 6, Christoph. He's opening up to us on camera about his, being ASD, being on the spectrum. He makes a spinning wheel. It's very impressive. He's really good with his hands. He makes all this awesome stuff. He's like, I'm going to make a beanie or a swing. I was like, interesting choices. Andreas, we get a montage of how rainy it's been, and he makes a bad IKEA joke, which I thought was quite funny. He's like, it looked easier in the catalogue.
That famous Scandinavian humour.
Yeah, yes, we love. Tamika. She sings a cute song about how she hasn't done a shit yet. I thought this was quite cute.
No, I didn't care for that.
Oh, really?
Didn't
You
care
hate
for that,
so
no.
you're just hating it when they're playing.
I'm hating a song.
When they're desperate to the camera. I'm like,
no.
entertain us. She has not had protein in 18 days. Susan is still on Struggle Street. Bloody all directions.
I know. So one woman can't have a bowel movement.
Yeah.
The other one can't stop.
It's
Feast or famine out there.
It's crazy. Rick. His boots. They're fucked.
They're
Poor
fucked.
baby. He's really worried
tried
about
his best.
frostbite. It's day 22. It's kind of getting to like, yeah, mate, like if you can't fix these boots, you're gone, right?
Yeah. He's constantly trying to keep everything dry because getting something death is the kiss. Getting something wet is the kiss of death.
Yeah. Tamika does a confessional about how much pain she's been in over the last 4 days and how she's just been really wanting to tap. And this is like human strength on camera. Like, I don't know. Very rarely does this happen on this show where you watch someone that she pretty much had decided she was going to tap. And then this is her turning point where she goes, nah, I'm going to actually, I've been looking at that little jut out into the lake or whatever over there.
Isthmus.
I know that I can catch fish over there. It's going to be a little bit of a bitch to do, but I'm going to give it a go. And she does. And it's like really cool to see. It's like her resurgence.
Yeah, it was her last ditch moment, wasn't it?
It was
that all go?
great.
Yeah.
It was great. And she decides to stay. She's like, if I can't get fish over there, I'll leave. But then proves herself right,
And
I
she's
guess.
drowning in fish.
And then she just catches so many fish. And it's so, I just love it.
It's so much because I would never watch a fishing show.
No.
I'm not watching Rex Hunt, but watching them is a thrill, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really get the excitement.
Yeah. Christoph tells us that being neurodivergent is like a strength because
Yes.
he can struggle a bit in social situations, but he can think outside the box easily. And that's his, like, the beauty of him and his brain and how it works. And I was like, this is some cool shit on TV.
It really helps him thrive when he's alone too.
Yes. I think other people would crave that social connection a bit more. And he's like, fuck him. And like, I don't know about you. Like, I had friends like this during lockdown who were like, oh my God, it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Didn't hate it. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah. I was kind of half. Like, it was great to have that excuse for some downtime, but also like, come on, girl needs to party.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
half. I could go a little, every now and then I think, I could go a little lockdown.
Yeah.
Just a couple of days.
Just fake a sickie.
Yeah.
Okay. Episode 7. 5 remain still. Christoph writes send nudes on the
I
beach.
missed that.
He writes send nudes and then he crosses out the N and changes it to foods and like a big sign on the
love
ground.
that.
Yeah, it's really funny.
There's some humour.
And then he goes rage, which I really liked as well. He's kind of like entertaining himself. Rick notices more snow has appeared on the mountaintops, which is beautiful. And Rick, gotta say, looking good. That daddy beard.
It's working for you.
He has not eaten
How
protein.
many times did you jack off watching
every
this?
episode. Yeah.
I thought so, yeah.
Just mainly with Susan
Yeah.
and that rock. He hasn't eaten protein for 15 days. I'm like, it's not looking good. Susan hasn't had much airtime for a while because I think she's literally just been shooting.
Yeah. There's only so much you can show.
Well, there's much you can show of that. I mean, they do show Tamika like drying out her cooch over the fire.
We don't.
Which I'm like,
Yes, give the woman some
SBS,
privacy.
please.
Well, it's SBS, babe. They know what they're.
Yeah, oh, true.
They know what they're
we
known
all grew up
for.
on.
Yeah.
Fuck, you're right.
They don't actually show that much toilet action. They must. Do you think they dig one,
Yeah.
or is it just sort of go where you lay situation?
You could probably just do it. No,
And you're off camera.
Who are you trying to
Yeah,
impress?
yeah.
You know, Andreas hasn't caught a fish in 4 days, so this is where you get your moment of. All right then, big man, show us what you got.
Yes,
He really does like hit a bit of a roadblock.
Yeah. And you know when they talk about when they're fishing, and the subs or they're talking about how they haven't caught a fish in a million days, or they're like breaking down or how they're desperate for a fish. You know they're either about to catch a fish, or they're about to tap out.
Exactly. Yeah, they cleverly
They
kind
build
of
it
give us
up.
these cues. Suzanne talks about being diagnosed with cancer and her kind of like almost anti-vax approach to like not taking the chemo, but then, and I might be getting this wrong, but is that decision what ended up like curing her? I was confused. The language around it was a bit weird. But I was like,
it was.
It was very like, I don't need your chemo. I'm gonna go and like
It was
sit on a
confusing,
rock.
but you know what? She's still alive.
Yeah, which
So
is
it
why I
must
was
have
like,
gone alright.
amazing. Yeah.
Nah, good on her.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, it was kind of impressive. I was like, wow. And John, her partner John, like their love is just like, wow.
Yeah.
That's like some couple
And then
goals.
she was always talking about some other people too, and I could never work out if they were the children or the dogs.
I think it was the
think they were the
dogs. I don't
dogs.
think they have children. I think
No, I
it's
didn't
just
think
the
they were.
dogs. Yeah.
But
No,
some of
she
their
strikes
names were
me as
misleading,
she's
you
not
know.
having kids.
It's like I miss John and Neville. I'm
Yeah.
like, who's Neville?
the like Jack
Show us
Russell.
Neville as a rock.
Yeah, exactly. Tamika's on a trout catching spree. She actually catches too much, so she has to dry some.
Oh
I think
yes,
she's
and
the
now
only-
that is the ultimate smug move. When you've got so much food, you need to dry
I couldn't
it.
possibly eat it all.
I need to make some trout jerky.
Yeah, the
That's-
trout jerky looks kind of yum. I'm not gonna lie. You're not into it.
Jerky is a concept I've always been
Really?
uncomfortable with.
Yeah. Another storm rolls in, which Suzanne is not into.
Not vibing with.
Andreas is showing us how much weight he's lost to camera,
Yeah,
which
brag.
not mad about. 'cause,
Once a model, always a
we
model.
get a lot of him sort of just like flexing.
Yeah, and you don't often see a torso on this show, so it is nice to get
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
bit of skin on skin, you know.
Exactly. Tamika still catching trout. It's wild, and you're like, surely this isn't sustainable.
Yeah, it's getting
Do you
rude.
think the fish like know? Didn't they tell the other fish like, there's a woman up there, and she's in this spot. You don't think they're smart enough?
I don't think they're smart
Yeah.
enough. There's this woman up there.
She's coming for us. Batten down the hatches.
She hasn't had a shit in 14 days, and she's coming for you, Barry.
Furious. Oh my god.
No, I think they're just completely baffled what happens to their friends when they just disappear like that. Especially in a
Yeah.
place like that where there are generally no humans, I think.
Yeah. Then we jump to like day 37 and I'm like, wow, we're moving very fast. No one is tapping. Like this is a long period of time with no taps.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people on the precipice. So like Rick with his boot, Andreas hasn't eaten protein and he's struggling. Like he's caught some things, but that was never consistent. And then Rick calls to tap out at the end of this episode. So we're
The boot fails.
the boot kind of failed him, and he's really happy though. And this is my favorite tap out, where they're not sad at all. They're really proud of themselves,
absolutely.
and they convince themselves that it's like, yes, just like you've done what you can. Like I love that.
Actually, a really unique thing about this show. So they all land on the spot, and they want to last 100 days, or they want to win. Right? That's usually the two goals, and you believe them that it's the only thing that matters to them.
Yeah.
But then they change their minds within a couple of weeks, and then they tap happily. It's quite different to every other reality show where they're usually bitterly disappointed to go out.
There's,
you know?
I mean, and I think it is more evident in the American version of this show. I think it is cultural. Like, there's a lot of like grumpy men that go on that show to prove something, and when they can't, they get really shitty or they blame something else.
Yeah.
And
if you get pulled,
yeah,
I can see why you'd be angry, because if you think you're fine and
True.
they are. But yeah, I feel like in the Australian one, everybody leaves happy, which is lovely.
especially this season. Really like mostly happy taps. Tappity tap. Tamika has officially hit a trout drought.
Finally. Her uppance has come.
It's day 42. It's snowing on
God.
Andreas's little beach. I was like, fuck, okay, it's that cold.
Yeah, that would be really tough to survive mentally. Once the snow started falling, I'd be out of there.
He's like telling us about how he's got the two lives, you know, being a model in Darlinghurst and out here being a hunter. And then when he dropped Darlinghurst, I was like, is he fam? And then I was like, no, he's too like
Austere.
grumpy. Yeah.
He's too austere.
Day 43, Christoph is sleep deprived. He tells us about being diagnosed with ADHD at 11. Tamika is fatigued, and that ledge that she's fishing off is really dangerous. She's like not quite sold. There's something about that ledge. She's like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's paying off now, but like don't love it. Susan, this is peak Susan. She's like grinding up seed husks. It's like, what?
Well, anything to bind the bowels, babe.
But the stuff she's eating, I'm like, how are you alive?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't
She's
it?
like, I'm going to grind some seeds together. And she has like one mouthful of seed. And she's like, I'm going to save some of those for later.
Oh, I'm so full.
Yeah.
You know, man, eat like a bird.
Yeah, it's so
Pterodactyl.
that. Fuck me. Now this is when Tamika opens up about some trauma from the police force.
Yes.
She didn't spill the tea.
No.
And like, probably for the best.
Tea for trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was like, fuck. And then she talks about how it turned her to drinking. And I was like, girl, this is, yeah.
I reckon she saw some shit.
She saw some
some
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it is linked to why she can't kill a goose.
Yeah.
Because I reckon she's saying someone got killed. And it was, yeah, I really felt for her. I wanted to jump through the screen and give her a hug.
I know. Yeah, no, that was very... And the most emotionally touching part of the whole series,
Yeah.
I reckon. Unless you're about to remind me of something more touching, I'll let you know.
No, that's it. Then Andreas does some weird shit here where I feel like he just wants to show us his ass. So he like gets naked and like hops in the water, like swinging his dick around like some spawning trout or something. I'm like, what is going on?
Spawning trout?
Yeah, there's some weird shit going on here. I was like, I don't understand what you're doing.
It's hard for you to concentrate while you're masturbating so furiously.
Exactly.
One eye on the screen.
Day 52. This is the duck moment. She's like, can't do it.
It's,
Do you know
now,
what?
This
Yeah.
is the moment for when the term sitting duck was invented.
Yeah.
She's got a big, fat, juicy, gorgeous looking duck. It's just floating around in
but
front of
not-
it. It's like
it's
a
not
Simpsons.
already at Coles, like packaged, and it's not Lover Duck.
It could be.
With
It could be in 5 minutes.
Still gotta kill
It's
it.
like a Simpsons style hallucination.
It
She's
was
sitting
very
there starving,
Simpsons,
and they're like,
yes.
"Eat me, quack quack."
It was like
Meh, meh.
that. In
Yeah.
fact, to the editors, come on,
Yeah, do a little
the-
VO.
do a little.
But
And
did
she
she kill
she
it?
taps. This is when she taps. She should be so proud of herself. Though. Incredible work. Loved it. But yeah, should have killed the duck.
Yeah, she should have killed the duck. I wonder if she regrets it now. I'd love to ask her.
I know.
She'd say no, but maybe the answer is no.
Which means that we go into the final and there's 3 remaining, which is like perfection. And we get Christoph doing a cheeky little fake tap where he picks up the phone. He's like, "Hello, I'm gonna tap." Haha. Didn't think you would have hated that. Someone
Actually-
having fun.
Actually, he had me hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, did oh
He had
yeah.
me hook,
Oh,
line,
I
and
was the
sinker.
same because he was so deadpan with it. I was like,
I'd like to order a pizza, he said.
yeah, ooh, send nudes. Cute. Suzanne is my biggest surprise at this point that
Yeah.
she's still there eating.
Yeah.
Like
that
she
nut dust has really seen
nut
it through.
dust. She should come out with a line
I
of
thought she was
that,
going to win. I
like
was
a protein
sad.
powder or something.
Yes, Suzanne's protein.
She's dancing around the bonfire like the free spirit she is, and I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
It's
Take
the,
it home.
It's the finale. Andreas, Susan, and Christoph. Who would have thought? Who did you think was going to win at this
Her.
point?
I thought she was going to
Yeah.
win. Yeah.
I was kind of rooting for her.
Because I thought she was the dark horse. And I was
Mm.
definitely rooting for her because I don't traditionally see men on reality TV. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Really, it's all about the women.
Wow.
So I just knew that she was still in it. And I actually misunderstood the edit at one point, and I thought there was only 2 remaining, and she was one of them. So I thought it was home and hose.
Yeah, because
but I was
you're
just
right.
paying more attention.
Andreas got lots of airtime in some episodes and then like none in others.
Yeah,
So
it
I
was
wasn't sure
Andreas.
if he was still there at times.
Yeah, I thought he was out.
Yeah. It's day 54. Suzanne's like, this is the hardest day yet. She's really emotional. She's so articulate. She's just like, I'm feeling reactive. I'm feeling this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck. Like, yeah, I wish I had your...
Yes, you're right. She was. Yeah, I'm very angry today
I
because
am
of this.
feeling
yeah.
angry and I want to slap someone. I was like, yes, good on you. We see her eating only plants. She's only eaten plants this whole time.
Only
Is
plants.
that correct?
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Incredible. Christoph's made all these wacky and wonderful inventions. He's got like a full kitchen back there.
Yeah, and they're
It's
amazing.
wild. We unpack his journey. He caught 2 eels, but he had to release them. Did he catch any fish?
Did he really release them? I mean, how tempting! How tempting would it be?
Oh,
'Cause
no, my
you
camera's
set up the
broken.
cameras. You set up the cameras.
Yeah.
You know what's on and
There's
off
like
camera.
an eel skeleton.
Yeah.
Like,
So I'm just going off camera
yeah.
to release that eel into the bush.
I thought it looked better to release over there, away from the cameras.
And away from the water.
Yeah.
Did
into
you
my
know?
mouth.
Oh my god! Sidebar. Did you know
Yeah.
that eels get up
Delicious.
out of the water and walk across the country? Now I know that sounds mad,
Does.
but there's like eels in Australia that you can like go to a park and see them, and then at some point in their life they get up out of that pond and they walk across the country.
Like those giant Japanese salamanders that live in the sewer.
Oh,
Have
I
you seen
don't
those?
know. I
It's
don't
like-
even know that.
It's like you see those and then you're like, oh, that's where like the dude that wrote Godzilla.
Oh, yeah, right.
It wasn't.
Saw that.
It wasn't actually that creative. They exist.
Anyway, I'm not very good at explaining the eel thing, but I have Googled it before. So if you're listening, Google it and you'll be like, man, that guy was so right.
That's right. No one is turning to this podcast for accurate
For eel
information
facts.
on anything. Christoph is missing his family, and then we see his like hot as fuck girlfriend, whose name I did not write down, but she was stunning.
She was.
I was like, love this. We get a little package of everyone's like time on the show. Andreas, project managing his way to the final. Christoph engineering his way to the final, and Susan just fucking
And
shitting
shitting
her way to the final.
Anyway, you get there.
Anyway,
you get there.
It's
Do you
just-
enjoy a recap in reality shows? Like in that episode of Survivor where they walk along the beach and remember the fallen. You skipping that? Or
I
you watching
love that bit. They stopped doing that bit.
You're so emotional. Aren't
I love
you?
it when they're like, oh no, mainly because I forget. As soon as someone gets voted out, I forget them immediately. So I
Yeah.
love when they go, oh, remember
Remember
Susie?
Pam?
Yeah, Pam. No, I love that.
Oh,
they stopped
Pam.
doing that bit.
Oh, good. I
the
don't
fallen
like it. Too
comrades
cringe,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Yeah, the Kentucky torch, the tiki torch, the Kentucky torch, the tiki torch, a little picture attached. Yeah, nah.
They're all thinking about the end now. It's pretty much like a standoff of tolerance. And then Andreas taps.
Gone.
As far as he can go. He's a brave face on, but you can see he's devastated. I think out of everyone, he's the most like upset to tap. It's more of a like, it's his body being like, you have to do it. Because, like I said at the reunion, he was
going a bit woo-woo, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he had that real male stubbornness, I think, something to prove to himself a bit. Day 63, Suzanne gets the phone out and she taps. Again, it's like, they didn't have enough footage to build up to either of these. I think it was really just like
quickly.
standoff.
Yeah, the minute she got off that toilet, she got the phone. Finally. Been trying to tap for 14 days.
She seems really strong and content with it. But then she does talk about the money being a big driver for her at this point. And I was like, oh, okay. In my perception of her, she couldn't care less about
no, she needs that
money
dam.
and,
She needs that dam.
She needs that dam. They can build a dam, surely. Don't you just dig it?
Well, now she's going to start her own protein powder company, so that'll fund it. And her plant subscription service, Only Plants.
Only Plants, where they send seeds to your door that you can grind up. So it's day 64. Which
Is the last day?
Last day. Also the day, same last day as Gina, I believe.
Oh, really?
64 days.
Oh, they'd be gutted by that.
But look, slightly controversial here because was he pulled medically?
So
did he tap?
I'll tell you
what
I thought happened, and then you correct me if I'm factually incorrect. So he's the last one left standing. So at this stage in the game, what happens is they stage a fake medical check-in, and then the doctors come in, and then they usually fly in the wife or the husband or the partner or the kids to surprise them in the bush. So while they're doing a little speech, but I'm still happy to be here, and my teeth have fallen out, and I only weigh 18 kilos, but I'm still got me. And then the wife would sneak up behind them and be like, "You won, Gary, you won."
So I think what it normally is, you're right. They do the medical, but they don't. In this case, they actually also pulled him.
Yes.
Because he was unwell.
Yes.
So it was kind of like both. Whereas normally, they'd be doing the medical and it would be a pretend
the traditional one. Yeah.
And then she would have come in. The girlfriend was supposed to be there. And I loved it. You find out later that she had like an exam or something. She was like, oh no, fuck. She's like,
oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. She didn't want to fly over. Because I was like, I hate
But she did fly over.
Yeah, but she was late. Which
so what
I was like,
thought
someone's
had
lost their job at SBS over this. Do you know what I mean?
What I thought had happened was that he was genuinely ill, and they thought it was. So traditionally, they'd be like, get on the plane, and they would just leave him in there for another day until she arrived. But because he was so arguably dangerously ill, they thought it violated their duty of care to keep him for an extra day. So they lost the reunion shot, the money shot.
And so this was your friend that was like, however, this is not a medical extraction.
Queen Rima.
Queen. Outstanding performance from Rima.
You know what? One of the great women.
The delivery of that.
Do you think she workshopped it beforehand? Because she did in the real reality show way.
It was
We're
really
pulling you. However,
it was really. There's 2 photos in my hand.
Yes, it was very. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgustingly good.
yes, exactly. Cut to
good on her. It really her star moment, Rima.
But also, it's like you're dealing with someone who's like neurodivergent. I was like, whoa, how is he going to take this? Yeah. And he's so emotional. I was like teary at this point.
Yeah, well, that makes one of us because he wasn't, was he?
No, but I think he was later. It took a little while to sink in.
It did.
I'm
so
glad
so
he won.
shocked.
Yeah, I'm really glad he won. He was such a sweetheart. Seemed delightful. And then we get this weird reunion with Hamish Blake.
The Hamish
show was like, excuse me? And then he's like, I'm a real big fan of this show. And I'm like, that checks out.
Yeah, I think it's great. He was great at it. He's a great vibe.
He was trying to put lipstick on a pig, I think.
Yeah.
They, like I said before, it's a cast. They've never interacted with each other before. And now it's like...
And they're not television. They're not really that television friendly.
No. Andreas looked like he wanted to leave.
Could you imagine? I would love to look through the raw applicants of this show because these are the ones that they're like, these will be good on television. Imagine all the other ones. Holy dooly.
Hamish did have some good written lines.
Did he?
Yeah, he's like, it's going to be all trout, no eels. And then they do some like on-screen CGI.
No, I didn't make it that far. I only made through 15
They
minutes.
made like deer walk through the set.
Oh, really?
It was like a little hokey, but within the SBS budget.
Yeah.
And they were all like, so it's pretty much him being like, you guys
kill the deer.
You guys like absolutely fucked this
And,
season.
you know, of course, in Survivor, the highlight of the series for me is when somebody gets voted off and they return for the tribal council or for the reunion and they look really fuckable because you're so used to them looking like pigs. Did anybody in the reunion blow your mind with their beauty?
Well, no. Well, so Survivor has stopped doing that now, which is so they do the reunion. It's very controversial. They do the reunion straight away, so you don't get to see them looking like a slut,
reunion,
all dolled up. But I do love that. No one looked that good. They all had put weight back on and stuff and whatever. Yeah, nah, you're right. I'm only attracted to them when they're muddy and alone. But when they're sitting in the studio,
muddy and alone.
I'm like, no, it doesn't do it for me. I did not masturbate to the
What
reunion.
a fascinating insight into your personality this has been.
Mm.
They've done a series 3.
They're doing a series 3? They've already shot it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They'll be on the way anyway.
Okay.
Any
Rima,
tips?
let us
What would
know.
you like to change about it?
I wouldn't change anything. I think the way they're casting it is perfect. I like the focus on telling us about First People stories and connection to culture and things. I think that's a great angle. Also, people opening up about their mental health struggles. That, for me, is a winning formula.
No notes.
Yeah, just do it in a different location.
Yeah. Spice
Maybe
it
like
up.
Patagonia or something.
Yeah,
I think
or just
keep
set
it Southern
Pakenham.
Hemisphere as that point of difference. Because it looks like the original show, they only do Canada
Yeah,
and the
you know where
Arctic.
I'd like to see them?
Where?
PNG.
Oh,
There's
that'd
some
be
shit going on
amazing.
there,
More of a tropical season.
Yeah, or last week I read about a full-grown mother who got eaten by a snake in Indonesia. That would add some
What
drama.
about downtown Cairns?
Oh, just in the city.
They have to just
Get to the casino. I would like a celebrity edition.
Oh, that's a great idea. Who would you put on?
Well, so glad you asked because I've cast it too. Okay.
Amazing.
In a alone first, I want a duo, the Veronicas. Could you imagine?
But we wouldn't know
They
which
would
one was
be
which.
screaming at each other.
They can't
talk
even
about
get
drop
on
shock.
a Qantas flight. or whatever.
Exactly. They'd be drop shocking and ripping each other to shreds.
Amazing.
But I also feel like they could just sit it out too.
Yeah.
Like in many ways, their career has been a bit like Alone, right?
True.
They've just been getting through it. So
They've
good on
been
them.
waiting it out.
Corey Worthington famously had the house party.
That would be
you
good.
know. I would like him to
He
build
would do it as well.
I know, and he could do funny pieces of camera. Now I've built the house. Who's coming round? You know? Do you remember Lay Down Sally? She was an athlete in the 2004 games. She was a rower, and she kept laying down.
No, but now you're making me think Stephen Bradbury should be on it if he's not
He's
already
not
on this. Because
bad.
then he could pull a Bradbury
Yeah.
and win by
You do
just
that.
not doing anything.
I thought Lay Down Sally would be good because famously she can lay down, and that, as I said, is a great strategy. You just lay there and do nothing. Next,
Amazing.
little Anthony Kalia.
Stunning.
Beautiful.
Might
What is
get
he?
eaten
But
by
like
a-
Australia's Paddy Mellon, you know?
Yeah.
And plus, that husband of
Yep,
his,
yep.
he's like a vicious supporter online, so he could drum up the good support online. Because I don't know if you've ever done a mean tweet about Anthony Kalia, but you don't have to put the at, and the husband comes and finds
Really?
you. He finds you.
Love you.
Does he listen?
Not a whole lot going on out in Hoppers Crossing.
Next, Mercedes Corby.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, if anyone could kill
This
a
is
mammal with her
great.
nails, it'd be Mercedes. Betty from Hey Dad.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Mr. Tim. What were they called? Mr. Simmons. Mr. Timmons. Can't remember.
You got to put a
I'm
housewife
too young
in
for it.
there. Gamble boy.
Oh, housewife is a great idea. Who do you think of all the housewives?
think
who's
Gamble
most
or
you think
Jallant.
Gamble?
Yeah, and I think Gamble
Gamble
would be...
just lay down and die.
No, she'd be great.
Who's the most resourceful housemate?
Petit Fleur, darling.
Silly question. Petty Fleur. And then finally, politician Christopher Pine.
Yes,
Because
this
I
is
reckon
really
he could
good.
run the numbers. He could have the wildlife supporting him.
I'm going to need you
in
to
a prayer
now
room.
AI generate some fan fiction around this
Great.
series and just bring
Just
that
push
to
it
me
out
as
one by
homework.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I'd like to see, SBS, please.
Amazing.
CAC, I forgot about Karen Kennelly.
Oh, Cat.
Yes, that should be
Well,
good.
I would like her to not return, to be honest.
You don't make it 130 years in showbiz without having a little survival skills, mate. And CAC would go to the end.
Yeah. Hunter Smith, thank you so much.
Thanks for
joining
having me. I hope I didn't talk at you too much.
Have you got anything you'd like to plug while you're here? You've got a fabulous podcast of your own.
I've got my own
Defining
fabulous
Culture.
podcast. Thank you for reminding me. It's called Defining Culture.
Yes.
Yeah, but what I really want you to do is follow my Instagram because that's
Okay.
where I vlog all my shit. And that's at Mr. Hunter Smith. Mr.
Gorgeous.
Hunter Smith.
Oh, can we expect new episodes of the pod soon?
I'm on a little holiday.
seasons.
Yeah, I'm
cool,
on a
cool.
little holiday.
That's a good idea.
Seasonal break.
I
I'm
should have
calling it.
thought of that before I
Oh,
started doing this.
I'm on a little break. No, but I should be back in a couple of weeks. But there's stunning episodes for you to listen to.
Yeah.
What would people of this
They're
podcast
timeless.
enjoy? I don't know if I've done any reality, but I've done a lot of trash.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of trash. So, yeah, jump on there and have a look to the big catalogue.
Fabulous. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, darling. Have a good day.
Bye. Bye. Thank you for listening to The Cringe is Real with me, Sam Cremian. If you would like to support the show, rate, review, share, and tell your friends about it. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the show notes.